Hi there, this is a small video on my trip to Bhutan. What an amazing country. This is for people who are, well, let's say a little more experienced in life, who are not the high adventure backpackers, because that describes me and the group I travel with. Not totally roughing it, but not 7-star also. Well, maybe once in a while. So, Bhutan, a small, landlocked country sandwiched between northeast India and southwest China at the foot of the Himalayas. Called Druk Kul, or the Dragon Kingdom, after the rumblings of mighty storms in the Himalayas, which are often heard in Bhutan. Tourists are charged a premium to visit this country, paying to maintain the natural beauty. Having said that, you can find more details on the net. I do not want to bore you with dry facts. I want to show how we had a super trip. A country that has been isolated from the rest of the world. Television only came to Bhutan in the late 90s. A country which respects its natural assets, being carbon negative. Maybe it's the only one in the world. Its lush, untouched forests act as a carbon sink, absorbing the pollution which has become a way of life. We started at Paro, where the international airport is, about 50 kilometers, an hour away from Thimphu, the capital. Paro seems to be the only place where they managed to get a sufficiently flat area to facilitate an airport. There are only a handful of pilots qualified to land at Paro Airport because of the difficulty to maneuver amongst the peaks and land on this small strip of land. You can also enter Bhutan from India by road, but we were not up to the long drive through windy roads, so we flew in from Delhi. From Delhi, the flight route takes you over Nepal and enables you to see Everest out of the aircraft window, subject to weather of course. Also, you can spot Kanchenjunga, the third highest mountain in the world at an elevation of 28,000 feet. Make sure you get a seat on the left-hand side of the aircraft. Paro Airport is so quaint. The terminal building maintains the Bhutanese architecture with high whitewashed walls and decorated window frames, not the usual glass and concrete boxes you see around the globe. An introduction to Bhutan as you collect your luggage. A model of a Bhutanese palace adorns the luggage carousel. Quaint is the word. Our journey would take us east from Paro to Punakha, then Gangtay, and returning back through Thimphu, the capital, finally back to Paro. An extra night in Paro becomes essential to match up with the flight timings the next morning. You definitely require a local guide or tour operator for this type of trip. We had booked one for the entire 10 days of our tour, from airport back to airport, with a large van to take the 6 in our group plus luggage. Wonderful guide and driver, extremely helpful, and nothing was too much trouble. Handling our hotel transfers, luggage loading and offloading, essential for people who are somewhat more experienced in life, as well as being knowledgeable to guide us around. Some people go straight to Thimphu, depending on what time the flight lands, and then cover Paro on the end of the trip before taking the flight back home. We chose to do Paro first and stayed at the Meridian Riverfront, a wonderful luxurious hotel with large rooms and lovely staff ever ready to assist. Paro is a small laid-back town with one main street with places to eat and of course the ubiquitous souvenir shops. With beautiful views all around. While in Paro, you can go to one of the main must-visits, the Tiger Nest Monastery. The Tiger Nest Monastery, or the Taksang Palpung Monastery, I don't know if I said that right, is one of the most famous sacred sites for Buddhists. It's a temple complex located on a cliffside of the Upper Paro Valley. People come to Bhutan just for this, yours truly. And if you're up to the hike, you must do this. But be warned, Tiger's Nest lies 3,000 feet above the valley floor, which is 10,000 feet above sea level. There's a steep and long hike up to the monastery, and it's not for the weak of heart or legs. Wonderful panoramas on the way up, and obviously on the way down. The ideal time to do this is early in the morning, before the hot sun makes the climb even harder. The path is like an old riverbed, so not flat and straight. And did I say it was steep? Well, again, it is steep. The Tiger's Nest Temple Complex was built some 325 years ago, when London was still recovering from the Great Plague and Fire. Guru Padmasambhava, who introduced Buddhism to Bhutan from Tibet, meditated in the caves on the mountainside for 4 months in the 8th century. The temple was built in the 1600s and dedicated to him. Legend has it that an empress of Bhutan became a follower of Guru Padmasambhava. She turned herself into a tigress and flew her guru from Tibet to this spot on her back. The guru meditated in the caves and made this site holy. Thus the site became to be known as the Tigress Lair. We managed to get halfway. 2 hours it took, and we were whacked. To go further was thought to be unwise given health and fitness considerations, and the fact that there are no medical facilities up there. So safety before everything. Embarrassingly, there were people with more experience of life who were able to make the climb. By the way, you can do this on horseback, but you have to be braver than me to ride a horse up the narrow, and did I say steep path. While we were there, one girl was forced by her family and friends to go up on a horse while screaming and crying. Poor thing was absolutely terrified. So that concludes the first part of our trip. Please see the subsequent video for our onward journey in the Dragon Kingdom. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more travel stories. Thank you, and see you in the next video.